Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel and welcome to a video post Christmas. So first and foremost, I hope your Christmas was good. Whatever you got up to, whether you celebrate it or not, I hope you had a lovely time with family, with friends and with loved ones. Obviously, we will talk about the game yesterday. We're going to talk about the game in 2 days. That's come around quick. There's charts news to come out. There's so much. So yeah, if you're watching this, I will say it now. It's going to be somewhat a long one because there's a lot to get into. All right. Morning Spurs, Polly, Jazz, Handsy, how are we all? Yeah, hope you had a good break. And I did. I spent too much of it eating, too much of it drinking, and I can't lie. I was struggling yesterday just to stay awake and watch the game because it had been a heavy few days. So yeah, morning Jessica and Christian, how are you both? So let's talk about really quickly the game yesterday. Obviously, Spurs losing 1-0 at home. Sorry, not home, away to Forest, and it was a weird one because this is why you never look at stats, right? Never look at stats because it will only tell you part of the story. Because if you look at the game yesterday, and I've got the stats here, Spurs had more shots on target. They had 71% possession. They had nearly 4 times the amount of corners. You're thinking, oh, Andy, we are cooking. We were not cooking. I'll be real. I fell asleep a little bit in the game. Again, hadn't really slept very much from Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So I was really struggling, but it was one of those games. I don't think it was a very good game, but it is what it is on that front. There's obviously a couple of talking points. Spence getting sent off. Obviously, you know, we are down bad defensively. We are down very bad defensively now. So that again, not great. Obviously, there's a situation where Dragic may miss time with injury. We'll see about that. So, you know, Spurs are now down 4 centre-backs. They are down a right back as well and a keeper. So we're missing 6 defensive players, which is just bonkers. It's like you get one back, like Ben Davies may be back. I think Ben Davies is going to have to play, by the way. Wolves don't care. He's probably not even 100%, but let's be honest, do we have any other options? Because right now, Archie Gray and Basuma are probably playing centre-back. So playing out from the back, we're going to be amazing. We're going to have so much ability to play out from the back, but we won't be able to defend set pieces. Defensively, we're probably not going to be able to defend in space at times. But you do have Alfie Dorrington sitting there. And I feel sorry to even have to say his name. But we'll talk about that when we talk about Wolves. Let's not talk about it right this second. But it was a game that I kind of predicted. Really, well, I said 2-2. I thought we'd score. But watching the game really early on, I was like, we're not scoring it. We're not scoring. But I predicted we'd have a ton of possession. I predicted they'd hit us on the counter-attack. And lo and behold, we had a ton of possession and they hit us on the counter-attack. Defensively, for the goal, I think a lot of people will highlight a doggy. And you're probably right to be fair. But I'm actually going to highlight the midfield. Because where was the midfield breaking on? Where was the midfield when they were breaking on us, you know? And this is what I mean about Bentancur. Like, really rate Bentancur. He's one of my favourite players at Spurs. But he has obviously missed a lot of football recently. So he's actually had time to recover. He's still played games as well. He looks just as exhausted as everyone else at the moment. And I don't know what's up with him at the moment because I was thinking, brilliant, he can play 90 minutes. Over the last sort of 6 weeks, he's had plenty of rest. Brilliant. He can play 90 minutes. He looked more tired than all these players that have played 90 minutes 2 or 3 times a week. And that's really the big issue at the moment. All of these players pretty much are playing 90 minutes 2 or 3 times a week. You know, we deal with obviously the injuries, but there's also the fatigue issue. And look, January has to be a big month. Literally has to be a big month now because we're dropping more and more players. We got 1 player back in Bentancur, and then we lose 2 against Forest. Would love a little bit of luck from the injury gods. Love a little bit of luck. Obviously, the Spence one's a suspension. That's not injury. It's nothing to do with that. But you get one guy back from a suspension. You lose another one to a suspension. Then you lose potentially another one to an injury. Bonkers. But look, it is not a great game. And things aren't good at the moment. They're not. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things aren't good. Things obviously have a reason for it not being good. But there's also an application attitude at the moment that I have an issue with. You know, ball's being played in behind. Johnson's barely running after it, not even trying, making a half-assed jog for it and things like that. Like, when things aren't good, you're told in Sunday League football, when things aren't good and you're not playing well, right? Run about, make yourself a nuisance. Even if you don't get the ball, even if, you know, they clear the ball or make a pass, it's keep going. Just keep doing it because at some point, something will fall your way. And it might not be a shot or anything like that, but it might just be you've won the ball and you can counter and something might go your way. But I'm seeing a lot of these players not making that extra effort that they used to. And it's like, oh yeah, but when things are going great, you're all happy to make that extra effort. When things aren't going perfectly, you just sort of resort to, well, someone else to make that run. And I'm seeing a lot of laziness at times. I think at some points, some of these players are going, well, someone else will make that run. Oh, you've overhit that. Why should I run after it? But it's okay when we're 3-0 up and you're happy to chase after it. It's when we're 0-0 or 1-0 down that you go, I'm not fancying that. So I think a little bit of an issue, really, with attitudes at the moment at Spurs. But look, that is the Forest game. I'm going to move on from it because it was yesterday. And I should have done a review through it yesterday, but to be honest, I fancied sleeping. So shoot me. Let's talk about some transfer news. Obviously, some of this is maybe a day or two old, so I apologise if you had heard it already. Obviously, I was enjoying seeing friends and family at Christmas and not thinking about Spurs or the Patriots, who play Saturday and no doubt will try and ruin my Saturday as well. But James Olley saying that figures at Tottenham have privately distanced themselves from strong links to Lille's Jonathan David. Matheus Cunha is understood to be a forward that the club are monitoring. Now, if you didn't watch Wolves versus Man United yesterday, Cunha was nothing short of sensational. Nothing short of sensational. Such a good player. And I sort of, obviously, this is going to tie into my preview a little bit, but I did also say he's just one of those guys I don't really think has a comparison to. I don't really look at anyone in the league and think, oh, he's quite similar to Cunha. I think this is a guy who, playing for a team that maybe isn't doing as well in Wolves, he is obviously sort of assuming that, hey, let me try some stuff. You know, let me see what I can do. And I think some of it works, some of it doesn't. And that's the beauty of those sort of players, by the way. Kevin De Bruyne does it. Whips in loads of balls in behind. Some of them work, some of them don't. The ones that work look incredible. Some of them don't, that look stupid, right? And that's the beauty of these sort of players. I love players just trying something new, right? Obviously, at Spurs, if he misplaces one pass, you're going to get groans and boos, but that's just, you know, unhappy fans. The real ones will go, oh, I tell you what, he's trying something. He's exciting. Now, there's a big issue with him. He's going to cost an absolute bloody fortune. He's not costing 20 or 30 million. Easily double 30, and then you're in a ballpark. I think he's going to cost even more than that. I think he'll cost about 80 million, 85, 90 million. And Spurs aren't spending that money in January. Hell, Spurs wouldn't even spend that money in a summer. So in January, definitely not. I don't see this deal happening. I also talked about how if you've got a team in mid-table, they're not playing for Europe, they don't really have a lot going on, they'll look at a player and think, yeah, we could probably sell him and it won't make a difference to our season. If you've got a team fighting for Europe, or you've got a team fighting for a title or cup competitions or relegation in Wolves' situation, they don't want to sell these players because staying up or getting into Europe or winning those competitions is worth a lot more than selling one player. Now, obviously, I sort of said it's a situation where, look, if they had a guy that's ready made to go to replace him, then you'd be like, yeah, we're going to cash in because we got this guy. We're ready to rock and roll. But, and this isn't a dig at Wolves, I don't see a player remotely close to Cunha's level right now at Wolves. So there's no need and there's no point to sell them, right? Makes no sense. So I don't see his Cunha situation being anything that we really take any notice of. I mean, look, he's a really good player. I mean, he's got 14 goal contributions in 18 games, 10 of which are goals. He's got a contract expires in the summer of 2027. So I can see a situation maybe in the summer where Wolves will go 2 years left on his deal. We could probably make like 70 million on him this summer, something like that, just hypothetical, something like that. We'll sell him, we'll buy someone, we'll buy 2 or 3 players with that money, build out the team a bit more. But he's not moving this January. You know what I mean? It's just nonsense stuff being leaked by the club. The Athletic, though, moving in with Spurs hold interest in Burnley's goalkeeper, James Trafford, but any possible move is likely to happen in summer rather than January. I mean, there's a couple of reasons why I think that's true. One, Burnley are fighting for, promotion back to the Premier League. Excuse me. And obviously that is worth a hell of a lot more than 20 million for a goalkeeper. And again, look, if you had a ready-made replacement, fine. But I obviously don't know if Burnley do. I don't know, right? They also talked about how Vicario's back in February. They think there's no need to replace, there's no need to buy a keeper now with him being back so soon. I somewhat get that. Also, part of me goes, then the summer better be a summer where we spend stupid money and we bring in really good talent, but we're not going to. That's not what we do. We spend money, but we spend it stupidly. And look, I'm going to have this idea of, you brought in this data system. You've implemented this data system. You brought in Johan Lang because you have this data system. Then this data system bloody better work. Because right now, if you see some of the players that he has signed to some of the players that Don Paratici has signed, we have a slight disparity between the two. One guy signing probably our best player at the moment in Dejan Kulusevski, signing Christian Romero, signing. I mean, obviously, I know he was banned at some point, so he didn't sign all the players, but he had a big part in it. Because obviously, Gabbiadini was there. Johan Lang has obviously been told, and this is the issue. All this issue is, and it goes for Johan Lang, it goes for Ange, it goes for it. Well, it went for Paratici for a bit, but it went for others involved. I mean, Scott Munn probably. They are told, we want to sign younger players because they're going to be cheaper. They are all told that. We want to sign young players because they're cheaper. We'll sign you 1, maybe 2 guys that are ready to go now, but we're going to sign 4 that are youngsters. Because in 3 years' time, they'll be ready to go. How many managers have we had that have all dealt with that? So yes, I'm obviously talking about Daniel Levy there. Which also, I saw people going, why is Daniel Levy and Johan Lang and Scott Munn not saying anything? Why is it all leaving down to Ange? It's like, where have you been? It's not down to Scott Munn or Johan Lang. This is Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy does not speak to the media. I mean, he's going to do an interview with Simon Jordan, who the hell is going to listen to anything out of that? There's going to be nothing out of that anyone should take anything from and go, he's a changed man. He's doing his best. Nobody's going to care. Simon Jordan's going to lay up absolutely simple questions to him, which, let's be honest, Daniel Levy's probably, checked off to say, yep, that's a fine question to ask me. Yep, that's a fine question to ask me. Daniel Levy's probably had, homework done ahead of this interview. So don't watch that interview, by the way, and think you're going to get anything from that you're really going to care about. It's all just hot air. Okay. So yeah, is what it is on that front. Right, moving on, because I want to talk about Jonathan David. There's an update that Saudi Arabia in Al Nassr want to sign Jonathan David in January. They're looking to make a 10 to 15 million euro offer to sign him. I mean, there's loads of teams that want him, but that came from Ekran Knor, which, if we truly aren't in there and we truly don't want him, fine. I get it. I'm not disappointed because, again, if we're not in there, we're not in there. But you better sign someone for the attack. It'd be nice if, players like Son could get a minute of rest. It'd be nice if players like Solanke could get a minute of rest. I think at one point, I'm the backup striker next game. But hey, Dan Gabatrick coming out with a couple of little bits of transfer news. He was talking about Kusanov, the Lon centre half, saying that he is thought to be a target for Spurs. Look, really, really talented young defender. People sort of compare him a little bit to Mickey. He's obviously got incredible stats this season, and there's good things to come out of it. If I just bring up, because I don't actually know when his contract expires. So he's born on a leap year. Oh, that's interesting. He's born on a leap year. He's 20 years old. So he's be 21, obviously, on a leap year. Contract expires in the summer of 2027. More of a right-footed centre-back. He's played 16 times already this season for Lons. Pardon me. You're not going to appease everyone if you were to sign him, but it's, again, look, if he can stay fit, fine. Do you know what I mean by this point? I'll have a centre-back that just stay fit, It's actually all we have. So I've missed loads of comments. I do apologise. All right. I've rambled there, didn't we? Sadly, I don't think we're signing David or Cunha, Yeah, Jazz, that's a good point, actually. That's a good point. Levy cut costs. He's done all these things to get investment in. It's like, oh, will someone want to invest when Spurs aren't doing very well? And the answer you would think, right, is no. You would think, well, why would you? Things aren't going well. Do you know why they would? It's because the investment isn't for the football side of things in terms of the investor. They're not investing in the football. They just want to go, look, if I invest that, it's going to be worth this in 5 years. Great, that I'll invest. That's all it is. And the thing is as well, I think, look, I need to keep reiterating this. The investment that if it does come in, it's only a minor investment. It's 5 to 15% as an absolute maximum. Daniel Levy and Enoch will still obviously hold the majority of this club. The football side of things and the business side of things when it comes to the running of the club, nothing changes. It's still business as usual. So, and I'm sorry, looking for yeah. Actually, lower words, yeah, absolutely. No, they won't be selling their players. Ange, Son's finished. Yes, yeah, again, so I think it was only good. He's just Adiz. He's just tired, mate. He's playing 3 games a week at 32 years old. There's a reason why so many players around that age who, if they're only playing 1 game a week, are still doing really well. It's because they don't have to play 90 minutes 3 times a week. He looks like he could do with a couple of weeks off, I saw those reports of D's, but there's those reports, and there's other reports saying that he will, and there's Ange saying that we will be busy. So let's just see. We'll take them on their words, and we'll see. But if I had to predict how January will go, it will be stuff coming out early Jan. So like a week's time, there'll be stuff coming out. Oh, Spurs doing this. Spurs are active here. Spurs are active there. And then we sign our first player on the 22nd of January. That's what it'll be. With 3 weeks into January, then we'll sign our first player. And by that point, you are down unbelievably bad. You're down even further. You think this could, if you don't think this could go further, this is going to go further. Striker, major priority. Yeah. I love Mbuemo. Yeah. Mbuemo is an absolute baller. But again, he's going to cost crazy money. Like, you think Cunha's costing crazy money and Mbuemo's alongside him. And again, why would Brentford sell him in the middle of the summer? Why would Brentford sell him in the middle of January? Unai Emery is at Villa. I saw, on Cunha, I forgot to say, I saw that Arsenal are keen on Cunha as well. And there was one other thing I was supposed to tell you and I completely forgotten. It'll come back to me. Morning, Andy, mate. How are you? Well, we need to get someone in a loan. We need depth, so we rotate players. Well, yeah. Ange take the Barca job. Hansi Flick's doing quite well. Gittins, I think Gittins might be off to Bayern in the summer. There's talk that Bayern are snooping around him. I thought Jonathan Tah was going to go to Barca, but not Barca, Bayern, but he's apparently off to Barca, which is a weird one. They can't register Dani Olmo, but they're signing more players. I don't know how they do it. They've got owners that are like, we want to get players in. We got owners that are doing the exact opposite. You know, and that's why you want something in the middle. Break your club. Don't even go near to doing anything with the club. Somewhere in the middle. Because you think City are going to be busy in January? They should be. You got Liverpool probably going to add in January because Liverpool are looking at going, look, we're going to win the title. Well, Liverpool are going to win the title. But they're looking at it and go, imagine we do a double. You know, they got us in the Carling, the EFL Cup. It's the League Cup. All right. I'm old. They'll be looking at that going, well, if we get through that, and, you know, the FA Cup still, the Champions League was still doing really well in the Champions League. Liverpool going, if we just reinforce maybe one or two more players, we could be easily looking at a double or treble. Hell, we are on for the quadruple. But, you know, you think, well, Chelsea sign players all the time, so Chelsea are going to be doing something. Plus, they might have a chance of ban. You never know who's coming up, so they're going to want to be doing stuff now. Man United, I don't know what's going on at Man United. That's a weird old place at the moment, but you would expect them to do something in January. You know, you think also the teams like Forest and Bournemouth and Brentford and all those sort of teams thinking, we get European football next year. They're going to look to add. So, look, we have to be busy. That is just a minimum. What they do is another thing. Players need a rest, absolutely. We're in a relationship if this continues. I'm worried zero chance for rumours. I've just told you some. Spurs and Wolves and next. Easy win. More than any what, Boxing Day? Hell of a Boxing Day, mate. Hell of a Boxing Day. Wolves played really well. Played well. They have many players. I think, well, obviously, new manager bounce. And they won. It's a real thing. Dani Olmo would be excellent, possibly for right wing and attacking mid cover. He's not leaving Barca, mate. Won't be busy until the last week of the window. Yeah, we won't be busy. They'll sign two players at the end of the window and go, look, we did business. It's like, you did it 4 weeks into the window. Did you know it opened January 1st? Like right now, they should be at it. Like in terms of agent chat, you know, setting up meetings. Like, look, January 1st, you and I are talking. Guarantee they're not. I guarantee they're going, but it's Christmas. I should have my time off. Yeah, you deserve it if things are going well, you know. It's like at work. If you're not doing well, you get put on a performance plan. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the time of the year. If you're not doing your job properly, you get told that. And then you get told you need to improve. Just because it's a football club, it should be no different. What about Tomori? Would love him, but again, I don't see Spurs being there, unfortunately. Well, look, anyway, moving on. We've still got more to talk about. Apologies. It's going to be a long one, but we got more to talk about. So we've just finished off with Kusanov chat. Quick update on Eze. Dan Kapachi saying the Spurs have still have admiration for him, but the deal happening in January are very remote. Again, I think they'll be all right this season, but in theory, there's a relegation battle, but they should be fine. They should have no issues. Cardoso chat. Now, Cardoso is a guy, obviously, that we basically have a deal agreed in theory for this summer, right? Because we have that release clause that we can buy him for. But Relevo was saying that Spurs have not ruled out trying to get Cardoso in January. Supposedly, it was reported at a meeting of the shareholders that Betis need about 20 million in profit within transfers. Okay. If that is true, now obviously, look, we don't sit in these transfer board meetings at these clubs. We don't know. But if that's true, don't wait till January 23rd. Don't wait till the end of the month. January 1st, you speak to Betis then and say, look, we know that we've got this deal in the summer. We know that. We also know you need some bloody money. Why don't we just pick that up and we'll move it on? Betis aren't going to be getting relegated this season. They're in the sort of top half of the table, but towards the middle of the pack. They're about 7th, I think it is, in the league. They could fight for Europe, but if they also need money, that's an issue. It's different when, like, you deal with, you deal with Wolves. Wolves might not need money, and setting up is way more important with Cunha. This might be a different situation. And if they need to raise all that money, you could sell a Cardoso and make a few quid on top everyone wins. So this is one, if that's true, again, we're taking this very hypothetical, we'll take it as word of mouth. If that's true, go and get him. Just go and get him. Because one, we need a midfielder that can hold a midfield. Because no offense, Bentancur can't do it. Basuma can't do it. Sarr can't do it. We haven't really seen Bergvall there, but I assume they look at Bergvall as an 8. Go and get a guy who does play that position. He plays the holding midfield position. You know? Anyone, at the moment, we need anyone that stand up. United will spend yet for sure. If we lose the Wolves, do you see Levy getting itchy fingers, trigger fingers with the window coming up? I don't think so, because I think they've put too much work, and I'm going to. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to say that Daniel Levy's done his job, and Johan Lang would have done their jobs. And I'm not saying they had to do it well. They just have to do their job, and they've put some effort into planning for January's window. I'm going to assume they have, because all competent people do that. I'm assuming these guys aren't completely inept and they have done some work. That is with the idea that these are Ange ball players and this is for Ange. So no, I don't. Also, sacking a manager right before January just feels doesn't feel right. Plus, you're still in 3 competitions. That is what's going for Ange at the moment. There's nothing else going for him. It's just that. I think Madueke played for Spurs Academy. He did play for Spurs Academy. He did. A long time ago now. Just got Cardoso, do it. We need anyone who can stand up. No Levy, he'll only pay 15 million. He senses blood. Well, yeah. And he'll haggle until the end of the month and go, yeah, we got him for 2 million cheaper. It's like, yeah, can you just have a look at the last few weeks? Like, we are down bad now. We needed him 3 weeks ago, Because if this is the case, right, and you go to Betis, right, you need money, do you? We need Cardoso. Okay, let's chat. You need money. We need Cardoso. Let's do this, right? You already have that relationship with Cardoso, and you have that relationship with Betis. Just saying, Do you agree that Premier League season is over and the season depends? I don't say the season's over. No, not at all. Not at all. No, Excel. No. Levy, Scott Lang are treating Spurs as a school project. Yeah, they're doing their homework right before the day it's coming in. So one transfer on January 31st then wouldn't shock me, mate. Is Radu injured? Potentially so, yeah. Get him day 1 of January. Well, hopefully we would, but I don't think so. Right, moving on. They also apparently were looking at Vitor Roque. Again, I'm not going to look too much into that right now, to be honest. Okay. But let's jump ahead. Let's talk about the game that is upcoming. It is Wolves and Spurs. Spurs at home. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, 3 o'clock kickoff. Look, I'll say it now. This is beyond a must-win, because a part of me goes, well, this is a must-play well. Southampton was only a few weeks ago, and we played well. We must-won, all those things, and we did it. It's beyond this now. This is stop the rut. It's not even a must-win. It's just stop the rut, because after this, if I look at Spurs' fixtures, just to double check, after this we play on January 4th. Okay, so if I look at, where the hell is my calendar? There it is, calendar. Right. So play on the January 29th, which is December 29th, which is the Sunday. We then play again the following Saturday. So you're going to get 6 days, okay? 6 days. Which for Spurs is like 2 weeks off. All right. Oh, Jesus. I'm just trying to think. I don't think there's anyone brand new back for this game. I think they're going to take Mikey Moore and just let him build slowly, which I get. But Ben Davies, look, Ben, if you are fit enough to play, you're playing. Simple as that. You are playing, because you can be Bissouma's biggest supporter or you can be his biggest hater. The guy is a central midfielder, and so is Archie Gray. Now, at least Archie Gray's played some centre-back this year that you kind of think, well, he sort of knows the position a bit. Basuma hasn't. And I don't want to be experimenting with this now. So if Ben Davies can play, Ben Davies plays. And Dorrington's on the bench. And if something goes wrong, you put Dorrington in at centre-back. Play the centre-back at centre-back. From now on, that's the way it is. I totally get the idea that, look, he hasn't played many minutes. He might not be ready. But he's also an actual centre-back. He is a trained centre-back. What I don't also get is Archie Gray, he plays centre-back. He'll play centre-back. Well, because Dorrington's not ready. He's a central midfielder. He played football in the Championship, so that's the difference between the two of them. But he was signed to play central midfield / right back, and he's playing centre-back over the guy who's basically the same age, who can't get a minute. I'm confused. Is just Dorrington not very good at football? Is that what we're saying? Because other clubs would be playing centre-backs if they had to. Now, look, also, we went into this season with 3 centre-backs. So, higher-ups, you failed. Well done. But Dorrington needs to get minutes, surely. You know, I don't want to see Basuma at centre-back. And Ange, I get that you may not fully trust Dorrington. But Basuma is not a centre-back, and he does not stay switched on enough to be playing centre-back. The difference is when he plays CDM is there is a back line behind him. So he's not the last line of defence. He is not switched on enough to be playing centre-back. Play the guy who's an actual centre-back, if that's the case. Just saying. But with Wolves, obviously, Wolves coming off the back of last night win against Manchester United, they played well, Wolves. They played well. They're the same amount of shots on target. They had more possession. They had the same amount of corners. And that for Wolves was a massive win. Like, they climb out of the relegation zone. They claw back, obviously, a couple of goals for their goal difference. They're 1 point ahead of Leicester, who are in 18th in the relegation zone. Christ, they're only 7 points behind Man United. I mean, they're 8 behind us, but, just talking about Man United now. That's mental. I mean, look, this is a team that ships goals. I mean, they kept a clean sheet against Manchester United. But this is a team, I mean, Man United went down to 10 men, by the way. If you weren't aware, United went down to 10 men just early in the second half. Bruno Fernandes getting sent off. Excuse me. But it's a massive win from them. They played a back 3, in theory a back 5 at times. But Jose Sarr in goal. Tito, is it Totti? It's Totti, yeah. Totti Gomez at left centre back with Santiago Bueno at centre half. And obviously ex-Spurs, Matt Doherty as a right centre-back. Semedo and Ait-Nouri were their wing-backs. Their holding midfielders were Andre, someone we've been linked to in the past, and João Gomez, someone we've been linked to in the past. And their front 3 interlocking-wise was Goncalo Guedes, Cunha, and obviously Strand Larsen. So, look, that was obviously a big win for him. All right, big win for him. So they're going to come in with some form. They're coming in with some energy. Back-to-back wins as well. That's another thing. Let's not shy away from that. I mean, they've won more in the last 5 games than we have. So there's also that. I've missed a few. Did I see the bicycle kick? I did. Vuckovic's bicycle kick was fantastic. Thank away for Archie Gray. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that we'd be thanking an 18-year-old central midfielder playing centre-back? Higher ups, well done. But anyway, for Spurs, look, this is a very big game. Spurs have lost each of their last 3 Premier League meetings with Wolves, their longest ever losing run against them in the league history. There you go. Wolves have won 4 of their last 5 games against Spurs, and as many as they... sorry, ignore that. 5 of Tottenham's 8 Premier League defeats against Wolves have come in home games. Fascinating. So the Spurs have only lost their final league game in one of the last 15 calendar years, winning 8, drawing 6. And that was a defeat against Wolves in 2018. So Wolves are our bogey team. Oh good. So great. Brilliant. Thrilled with that. If I'm honest, I would probably say, oh, Ange's doing a press conference. Hang on. Let's have a look. Hang on. He has talked. He has talked. Just want to see is so he has talked about Radu Dragic. God, Football London's website is just the worst thing on earth. My goodness. So he's asked how's Radu Dragic. He said that he was a bit sore. He hurt his ankle and he said he couldn't continue. So we'll have to just wait and see. Okay, he's out. He's not playing. He's not playing against Wolves. I won't look at the rest of it. But yeah, I don't think he's playing against Wolves. So in that regard, play Dorrington. Don't muck around Bissouma. Like I said, doesn't switch on and doesn't stay switched on long enough to play such a position where you have to be switched on at all times. Play the centre half. Play the centre half. Oh, it's going to be so nice when we have players again. It's going to be. I can't wait. Can't wait for the fact that your main two centre halves are out injured. Then your next two centre halves are out injured. Your right back, who is probably one of the most informed players you had, is now missing this game. Bentancur seems to be half the player that he was at the moment. Don't know what's going on there. Pape looks shattered. Play Lucas Bergvall. This is, by the way, can I just stress this point? Play the midfielder who has been fit, hasn't played a ton of minutes, and looks like he's got energy when he comes on the pitch. Play him, please. I know, Ange, maybe he's not your favourite cup of tea, but the players that are your cup of tea at the moment are letting you down. Play the guy. He's got more energy. He gets stuck into tackles. Yeah, he picks up a booking here and there, but that's because he's trying to win the ball. He's trying to make tackles. Can't say the same for some of our players in that midfield. I wouldn't play Son. I'm not playing Johnson. Not after what I watched him do against Forest. I'm not playing Johnson either. Lack of energy, lack of effort is my big issue with him. Some people don't think he's a good player. Fine, whatever. He's obviously done well in terms of goal scoring and assists since he's been at Spurs, but the effort has always been my issue this season, and I'm not seeing the effort from him. And people go, but he's tired. Yeah, but other players are tired and they're still trying. Some of them are still trying, not all of them. Not all of them, but some of them are still running around like headless chickens. Solanke's played more minutes than Johnson. Solanke's still running around like headless chicken. So, so by the sounds of things, Spurs are going to be down quite bad injury-wise, even more than ever. Obviously, Forster will be in goal. Destiny will have to play left back. Centre half, so Gray, I guess you'd say Bissouma at the moment. But please, for the love of God, play Dorrington. Right back, Pedro Porro. Because obviously Spence getting sent off. So at least people that are twerking about Spence are going to be quiet for at least a week, which is something. Midfield three. Look, Bentancur is bang out of form. They're all bang out of form. So really, whoever you pick, Maddison has to play, by the way. Maddison has to play. He's somewhat in form. And when we dropped him for Forest, I never understood that move. Kulu back on the right. Let's play, obviously, Maddison in the 10. Bentancur and Bergvall is the ones that I would go for, maybe. And then Sarr and Bissouma off the bench. Your front three. Look, if Timo's fit, give Son some minutes on the bench and then bring him on for half an hour if you need to bring him on, because then he can get 6 days rest after. Solanke and Kulu. I think that'll be my team. I mean, look, I don't have much of a say. There's not a lot that I can do differently. But by the time we play Newcastle, which is the 4th of January, we then go back to a spell where we play every 4 or 3 days. Between an 8-day window, we play home at Newcastle, home at Liverpool, away at Tamworth. So we are, again, after this 6 days, which is basically our winter break, we are going to be going non-stop again. Richarlison, they said, is going to be maybe back in January. It has to be. Obviously, Mikey's going to be back. Mickey will probably be back in the middle of January. I'd say Romero's back towards the end of January. Odebear's going to be back a while after that. Vic's back in mid-Feb, I'd say. Ben has to be. Look, Ben's back this weekend. Ben plays centre half. You know, all my shout out at Dorrington, it'll be Ben. And obviously, Spence will be back. Spence is going to get basically a 2-week break now. Obviously, getting sent off. He's going to miss the next game. He'll be back for Liverpool in the Cup. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now with that. Look, let's wait and see about this game. Things are tough at the moment, but look, beat Wolves, end the year on a high. It's just something. Don't make me go into 2025 hating my club even more than I have to, you know? But hey, we'll see. Thanks very much for joining me. And go and enjoy the rest of your Friday mornings, whatever you're doing, work, family, friends, whatever you're up to. Enjoy the rest of your mornings. And I'll speak to you all very soon, speak a little bit more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Peace.